Well, good afternoon everybody, and welcome to this sunny but very breezy day here in the Bristol Channel. It's Thursday afternoon, just around about 1:30, and I am on board the Waverley, which is the world's last ocean-going paddle steamer. And we're going for a little ride today up under the bridges, the second Severn crossing and the original Severn crossing. I'm hoping the audio is alright because it's very, very breezy today. I've got the mic tucked away as best I can, but we might get some interference and noise and things, but we'll see. Oh, here we go. Time for action. There's our pier. Lines cast off. There we go. So that's where we're headed, right over there, where those bridges are. But I think we're going to cross to Penarth first, or is it Portishead? I don't know. We'll find out. That's the Welsh coast over there. We are extremely windy here.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome our Clevedon passengers aboard Waverley for today's cruise, which takes us across for a single call at Portishead, followed by an afternoon cruise on the River Severn and under the bridges. Could I ask those passengers who've just joined the ship to take a moment to listen to the following passenger safety announcement. In the unlikely event of an emergency, an alarm signal consisting of 7 or more short blasts, followed by 1 longer blast, will be sounded on the ship's whistle and alarm bells. On hearing this signal, you should proceed immediately to the nearest assembly station. These are indicated by square green and white signs with arrows pointing inwards. At an assembly station, you will be issued with a life jacket and instructed on how to wear it. Smaller life jackets are available for children. At all times, you should remain calm and follow the instructions of the crew. Please take care when moving around the ship today as the decks may be wet and slippery. Always use the handrails on the stairways. Children should be supervised at all times and never listen along the height of ship rails. And personal belongings should not be left unattended. Please also don't throw any rubbish overboard in case of the waste and provided. Many thanks for your attention. We hope you enjoy your cruise aboard Waverley. For those passengers who require to collect pre-booked tickets from the ship's purser's office, the purser's office is on the promenade deck. It's just behind the funnels, and it will be open in a few minutes. Many thanks.
I need to go and get a ticket. Don't have one yet. It's a beautiful ship, isn't it? 19th century engineering, all steam powered. We'll go down and look at the engine room later on. I'll give you a treat on that. We'll walk round in a minute. So we're going to go to Portishead first, which is just over there, and dock there. And then we're going to go up over the bridges. So the lounge. We'll go in there later. Ah, there he goes, look. Look at that, that's what we need. What? Cup of coffee. Yeah. Love it. Funnels. Nice. The starboard side gangplanks. What have we got here? Purser's office. We'll go there and get some tickets in a minute. Now we go back to the stern. Let's hope we don't have to use those rope ladders. It's the rotating paddles, driven by steam. Amazing. Go up top in a minute.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We make our way up along the coast towards Porter's Head and River Severn. We'll be pointing out some places of interest to you. This little bay here is Walton Bay, and it's a safe anchorage for ships. Very often ships waiting to go into Weymouth to anchor here at Walton Bay. In fact, Waverley, I think, was here last night, overnight in Walton Bay. And if you look across on the see the caravans and so forth, to the right of those, you see a little tower. That's the old Walton Bay signal station. Until probably 30 years ago now, it was replaced by a new DTS control centre down at Avonmouth. And this really is no longer manned as such. It was at one time the reporting station. Any ships coming to Avonmouth would record their presence here at the Walton Bay signal station. It's just got a radar into it now, I think, and it's keeping a watch, but it's not manned anymore. That's Walton Bay signal station.
So that's Porter's Head in the headland there. We're going to dock there, collect some more passengers, and then make our way up through the River Severn.
At this point, the channel is about 12 miles from side to side, ladies and gentlemen, and over on the port side, the left-hand side, we're more or less just past Newport, or past Newport really, and we're heading up towards the Severn Bridges, which of course you could see in front of us, but more about those, so we get a bit nearer. The field coming up on the right-hand side, you'll see a big green field there. Just beyond that, there's another field with indentations in it. Well, these indentations hide the oil tanks which are underneath. Underneath that hill is a large collection of oil tanks. You can see the outlines of the tops of the tanks. These were put in place after the last war, and they've got a storage space for part of Britain's strategic oil reserves, which I don't think would have lasted all that long, but especially in modern times with the use of oil. But these were only used as such for about 8 or 9 years, and they were decommissioned. And they lay abandoned for some years. However, some years ago, probably about 15, 20 years ago, they were reactivated, and they now store aviation fuel, Jet A. And the Jet A is landing at 8-mouth docks in the tanks farm up there, and it's piped along to here. And the aviation fuel is stored there. And from here, there's a direct pipeline to Heathrow Airport with a spur to Gatwick. And so any planes now drawing Jet A at Heathrow or Gatwick get their supplies from this tank farm here. It's piped all the way up to Heathrow, and the planes are fueled at Heathrow. But the oil does come, the jet fuel does come from these tanks here. This housing development here was started before the war, and before the last war, in the 1930s, it started to be built. I mean, it's been rebuilt a little bit since then. A lot of bungalows are built, then it became known as Bungalow Town. There was another bungalow town on the south coast near Brighton and Peacehaven. But P&A Campbell steamers, when they regularly plied up and down the River Avon, often had an afternoon cruise to view Bungalow Town first. That was Bungalow Town. It's on the top of the cliffs here, you see the two radio masts. Well, that's more or less the site of the old Portishead radio station. Portishead Radio is a very important commercial radio station, and virtually all the transmissions to ships at sea were routed through Portishead radio station, which had shortwave transmitters reading all over the world. But with the invention of the modern digital communication systems, which all ships now use, shortwave radio became obsolete, and the radio station was closed down probably about 30 years ago now. There's more or less on this site, but a little behind it, is the new Avon and Somerset Police Headquarters. But the radio masts are more or less where their radio masts, that's more or less where Portishead radio masts were. The very prominent building they're coming up to now is the former National Nautical School in Portishead, which was an establishment built over 100 years ago to train ratings for the merchant navy. The qualification was to be admitted there, you had to have a bit of a criminal record of some sort. So basically it was an approved school, I think it would be used in those days. But the pupils or the trainees, their received a nautical training, went on to become rating in the merchant navy. It closed down many years ago now, and it's now been redeveloped as apartments, known as Severn Court. The name comes to the fact that the last principal of the establishment, which was made in the 1950s, was a commander Fedon. So that's Severn Court, the former National Nautical School. One bit of the establishment has been retained. You can't see it from this end. It's a chapel which is still used, I believe, occasionally on a Sunday. That's at the back of it. We're now coming up to main Portishead Beach in a minute.
I did want to ask you
Sugarloaf Beach, and very shortly we'll be up to the main Portishead Beach. The channel we're now following is a very deep water channel which all ships going into Avonmouth and Port Bridgehead to use, even the big car carriers come on a course more or less where we are now. The water's very deep here. Well, the seafront area of Portishead there, Portishead Beach, on that's probably a bit of an overstatement. It's more of a shingle patch than a beach with a few rocks and so on there. But the lake grounds in Portishead, you see the row of cars. Well, just behind there is the Portishead Lake, and what the lake, as they know now, the lake grounds. And the town of Portishead is on the other side of the hill, the main town. It's on the opposite side of the hill. We're just coming up to Battery Point, and I see the main channel very close to the shore here. A very large ocean-going ships coming quite close to Battery Point. It's a favourite place to take photographs of ships passing by. The light you see, Battery Point light, that's still a navigational light, and it's probably rather unique in it's a listed building. So that's Battery Point, and we're going into Portishead Marina, which is on the other side of the hill. We go up the head of the channel, but then we turn around to starboard and head into Portishead Dock. But Portishead Royal Portbury Docks now in full view, a little distance away. And in the far distance away to the left of Portishead Docks is Avonmouth Docks on the other side of the River Avon.
Oh, thank you. I did it. Thank you. Okay. Cheers.
Looking at us going, what a bunch of bloody
There's an island out there on the port side, a mile or two away from us, Denny Island. Uninhabited, as you can see. The only thing on it is a sign saying keep off.
Should get off my
And pretty well dead ahead of us now, Avonmouth docks. You can see the tanks, the oil tanks, and that's where the oil is landed. Tankers coming in, some of which is then piped back to the tank farm at the other side of Portishead, which we just passed. And a very good view of the two Severn Bridges, and we'll be heading up there shortly into Portishead first of all, to embark further passengers. Then we head up the river under the two Severn Bridges.
And I couldn't stop laughing.
So I remember that. I took some photos of her. There was that picture of you with your hand next to the sheet notes. I can't post that.
It looks a bit random.
It looks a bit random, but also it looks like got engagement ring on. It's like funny, isn't it? Don't post that.
Can you imagine?
James, what's going on? It's like, no.
And we'll make our turn to starboard in a minute, and heading into Portishead docks.
He's one of the general managers. And he's
Portishead docks was once quite a busy dock on the channel. There was a big power station there, in fact 2 power stations, A and B. They were coal-fired power stations. They were closed down now about 30 years ago. And coal to serve those power stations came in from South Wales, was landed in Portishead docks. We're going to the lock entrance, but it's narrowed down now. As you go in, you'll see ahead of us how it's been reduced in width to about half its original width. And cargo vessels no longer go in there. The whole area has been developed now as a marina with extensive new housing.
You deserve a good last, but good start.
The new lock, which has replaced the old big lock, now could smaller vessels could go in there, sort of cabin cruisers and sailing vessels and so on. But before the lock was closed, the big lock, Waverley actually went in there a couple of times, right up to the far end of the dock. In fact, it would have been about the late 70s, I think, when it referred to the Bristol Channel. Waverley started the season in Portishead docks. It was right up at the far end, just by where Waitrose is now. But that doesn't happen now, because the locks have reduced in width, just to accommodate small vessels. So we're turning around now, and we'll head into the lock entrance.
Well, we've got hours, haven't we? So we can stay up here until it's checked.
You can see the pier sticking out. We go alongside the breakwater pier, and we tie up there just over on the starboard side in a few minutes' time.
Ladies and gentlemen, as Pastor said, that's us now approaching the pier. For those passengers who are doing the single journey, please now prepare to disembark. That's the Waverley now approaching Portishead. For those passengers doing the single journey, please now prepare to disembark and have tickets ready for collection at the gangway. Thank you.
That's life actually.
And that wind's picked up here. Rain clouds, look at that.
we'll have to come alongside the breakwater the other day. You can see ahead of us the new development in Portishead. The course of the slightly on top.
Okay.
You can also see, just as you come in there, ladies and gentlemen, the Cornish village as it's supposed to be.
Good idea. There's brothers on, isn't it? The boy carrying it. There's a banana.
Let it go. Okay, once it's gone again.
Sorry, can you just... Oh, are you filming? Sorry. Sorry, can you just pass
Right, let's go, please. Let it go, Warren. Give him it. Okay.
In an hour or two.
Where's Chris?
Right, on a squad bit. Sorry guys. Excuse me. Sorry guys. Lights back on board. Take my jackets. Were you looking for it? No, you're forward anyway, yeah? Okay, you okay? Okay, folks. Been second down there. We'll have tickets for collection, please. Thank you very much. Tickets for collection.
It's a disembarkation at Portishead.
Thank you very much.
And there is a small queue of people wanting to get on.
Sunny Portishead. Bye now. Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye now. Anyone else going ashore?
come the next lot of passengers.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you look ahead of us, you can see where the original lock was. That was the width between the stonework, and they reduced it to it many years ago now when they closed one set of the dock. The cargo ships did come in here quite regularly. The colliers used to come in from South Wales up to the power station, which is at the far end of the dock on the right-hand side. Two power stations, ports in A and B. They were coal-fired, and the coal came across from Garlic and Barry into here. On the other one is colliers, I should say, which were probably about the same length and width as Waverley. But also on the left-hand side, if you look ahead, is the phosphorus plant. That closed down, not sure what we use a phosphorus for, it with detergents and so on. But the raw materials for that used to come across from Canada, were landed here and were processed in the phosphorus factory. That's long since closed down. And prior to the building, they called the site, they had to dig deep, very deep, to get rid of all the contaminated land, basically new soil and land. And the road leading up to the end of the dock here on the left-hand side is Newfoundland Road. That got its name from the fact that when the phosphorus boats came in, they came from Newfoundland, or Newfoundland, they went out to announce it. So that was the phosphorus factory, which has long since disappeared. And there were increasing numbers of apartments that were being built. This was the lot just here in front of us. That was a car park last year. It disappeared as a car park and it's now re-emerging as apartments. And besides the development directly ahead of us on the high-rise bit, over to the left, there's a very low-rise residential area of two-storey houses, built on a slightly marshy ground, I believe, and pumps are working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, to keep the land and the area flood-free. We have 50 minutes to our departure time. It's 14:30 to leave here. So hopefully some of the people will break the elements in the last quarter of an hour or so. Just behind on the starboard side, just behind the tree on the hill there, is what's now the Royal Hotel. That was built right about 100 years ago to start with. It was first built, and that was to accommodate passengers going across to South Wales before the Severn Tunnel was open. There was a railway station just behind the yellow house here, you see. And trains come down from from Bristol and some from Paddington to here. Passengers could stay overnight in the Royal Hotel and would then sail across to Cardiff or Newport the next day. And the Royal Hotel was built for that. It staggered on for many, many years, and it closed down about 5 years ago. But it's been rebuilt, extensively modernised now. It's been bought by Green King and turned back into a residential hotel with some very nice bars and restaurants. That's just a matter of about 100 yards behind the big tree there between the two buildings. That's the Royal, as it's now called.
Hiya. Get a latte, please.
Anything else?
No, that'll do for now.
No problem. That is £3.90.
There you go. All good.
That's great. There's just milks and sugars as you go out the exit there, okay?
Thank you very
Yourself,
much.
do whatever you need.
Hopefully it's got milk in it,
Hopefully.
as it's a latte.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you.
The big problem if it's not in there.
Yeah.
Right. Enjoy.
Oh, that's the tea room. Bursar's open for tickets later on. So what have we got down here? Let's go and check this out. So, lower bar. Another lower bar there. Lounge forward bar. Oh, look at this. We'll come and have a look at that one, which is in full steam. See the power of it. Dining salon. Okay, look at this. Yeah. Officer's table.
I meant to be off today anyway, but I had to be off for this.
Crew only.
Yeah, not so bad. Bloody better. A week next Monday. I put the 10 on the sheet.
We'll come down here later and have some food. Cool, look at this. Look at this. Sandwiches. We got a selection of snacks and drinks, look. And then there's hot food and stuff over here. Look at this, you got soup, chips, fish and chips, oh yes. Chicken tikka and rice, we'll have some of that later. Some more snacks, drinks on the way out. Cool. We'll certainly come in there later. What have we got here? The lower bar. Let's go and check this out. Lower bar. Oh, it's quiet. Look at this. Very nice.
You might notice on your walk around, all these fire sprinklers,
Yeah.
they're all new.
Right.
The whole system was replaced during the winter.
Very nice.
Very expensive it was.
I can imagine.
Throughout the whole ship, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, look at this. Here we are. This is really a nice getaway.
Got the prices there for the whiskey and things.
Yeah, very nice. Here we are.
Got some whiskey, yeah.
Here's the bars, look. Talisman Bar. Some ales, wines, mixers. Very nice. So we're quite low down here, aren't we? Very low down, in fact. Because there's the water, look. Yeah, just above the water level there. We'll come down and have a look when we're rolling and see what that's like. Do you know what? I'm just going to have a sit down here a minute till we get going. A bit wet, and that's got caught with that rain shower up top earlier. But we're okay now. I'm hoping the audio's okay. Seems to be peaking a little bit hard, but we're okay. Welcome to the lower bar in the, is it SS Waverley? I think it is. No one in here because the bar's shut, that's why. That's better. Now I'm tracking. And that's it. So this is the Osmo Pocket 4, and it includes face tracking or anything tracking. You select it on the screen, and then no matter where I go, the gimbal moves itself. There you go, see? Keeps me centered. Very nice. It's like having a cameraman, but you're doing it on your own. Waverley, the world's last seagoing paddle steamer. There she is. Very famous. Very famous ship. Okay. No, I tried to do this as I wanted to do this as a IRL live stream, but the tests I did yesterday proved that we couldn't. Basically, there's just no signal out here. Very, very poor. I mean, there's just one bar here, and certainly as soon as you leave the dockside, there's nothing, absolutely nothing. So even with my Moody 7 hotspot, there's nothing here, absolutely nothing to grab onto. So it failed. I couldn't do it live. So this is an as live. So I'm recording it on Wednesday. I'm gonna broadcast it as live tomorrow. So it'll be the same time, but 24 hours later. That's the plan anyway, if it all works out. Looks like we're about to go. Looks like we're about to kick off. So, 64 minutes recording so far, and we're down to 75% power. So it looks like we'll get 4 hours if it's linear, but it might drop off beforehand. Ding dong, here we go. Beginning to move. Let's have a look at this leaving now. It's amazing. Looks like we're underwater here. Very good, isn't it? Very good.
See inside of the paddles now.
And there's the shaft. It's So obviously the pistons are in there. And move this shaft here, and that then drives the paddles, which drives the ship. Very, very good. Very, very good. Pressure over 100 bar. Full ahead. That's full ahead. That's full top speed. Full ahead. That's a better shot than the other one. Absolutely fantastic. Look at that. Sit and watch that all day. Very good.
The entrance to Waverley just come to you in a minute there. And head up the river Severn towards the Severn Bridges.
Another bar at the front.
You can see the wind turbines are available as docks. I think that the whole power, but all the electrical installation on the inside dock are powered by these wind turbines. The first three originally I spoke to a few more as well. Yellow tags over there, that's the yellow tags making our docks, where large quantity of petroleum and aviation fuel are landed. Aviation fuel that is probably across to the tags that you saw on the other side of the Porter's Head earlier on. Energy recovery sector these days. Basically, the first rubbish security in 2017. There were originally two of the stations, but one of them I think is closed down and operated by two rival companies. And I believe the only one that's operational is actually the building a very big chimney, tall chimney.
The one he actually died in the street there. And we were all 70 years last time we were there.
Behind the waste lot down there, there's a big, very big trading estate, every inch of which is stuffed with new cars that they could find a space for. But there's some big distribution warehouses there. The big Amazon one, and there's also a master distribution area, both quite big plants. And then if you go looking at the chimney, go to the left there, you'll see some on the shoreline. There are three vast new warehouses, security warehouses off the left. One of them's already gone to one of the big transport companies, next to it is now. But they're vast distribution depots for with lorry bays all around them.
Bournemouth docks. Comes the rain again. What a day to choose this, eh? What a day to choose to go on this trip.
Start on the right hand side, having just gone underneath the bridge. The little village of New Passage is over there. You can see a white building. Before the building of the Severn Rail Tunnel, there was a pier open with the other side there, and one on the Wales side. And again, the route to South Wales by train is to come to the New Passage, cross over on the ferry, and then carry on the journey on the other side. The actual Severn Tunnel is just before we got to the bridge. We were passing over the Severn Rail Tunnel, which runs across from more or less under Severn Bridges to Sudbury on the other side.
That's the second Severn crossing, the new one. And ahead of us,
you'll notice now as we carry up the river, there are navigation marks on both sides.
Will be the
channel and
the old one, the original one.
Away to the starboard side at low tide is all high, not exactly dry, but it's certainly bereft of any navigable waters. Vast expanse of mud, shingle and rock. Just on the other side of the river here, we've just passed it really now, is Sudbrook. And the pumping station for the Severn Tunnel is at Sudbrook. It used to be steam operated by steam beam engines, but it were replaced by electricity some years ago now.
Over the Severn Bridge.
A few interesting facts about the Severn Tunnel. It was begun in 1873 and completed in 1886. It had many problems in construction, not the least of which is the Great Spring, which flooded in 1879. The engineer was Sir John Hawkshaw and T.A. Walker.
Cigarettes and alcohol.
They had to solve the problem, and they didn't know how they could overcome it without pumping the water continuously. So originally the Beavitt Coventry speed engines pumped out 11 million gallons of water out of the tunnel. The pumps today are electric. If the pumps fail, the tunnel would fill with water in 25 minutes. So you'd rather waste fresh water. And in the construction they used 74 million bricks, and it's the longest undersea tunnel in the world. That's the Severn Tunnel, which we just passed over a few minutes ago. Coming up now to the original Severn Bridge, opened in 1966, I think it was. And the building you can see just this side of the bridge, over on the port, or left-hand side, was Vast Warehouse. It was originally a Tesco warehouse, but apparently they moved out it somewhere else. I'm not sure who occupies it these days, but it's originally built for Tesco.
Grand job. Keep it going. Here's the man on the mic, look. We've been hearing you for hours. No, it's all good. That's the man. There's the PA man. He knows all about it.
Now very shortly we'll be Also, you got the original Severn Bridge, which is dead ahead of us. And both ends of the bridge are contrary to popular understanding are in Gloucestershire. Both ends of the Severn Bridge are in Gloucestershire. And then going to the left, you come to the Wide Bridge, which is over on the left. That, of course, is in Wales, because the division between the two bridges, halfway between the two bridges, is the border between England and Wales. The little island you can see coming into view over on the port side is St Tetra's Isle, also known as Chapel Rock. There's a ruined chapel on the island, and in the course of time it's had a couple of religious establishments there. The chapel was very used for many centuries, and is regarded as a sort of good omen for seamen coming up the channel into Sharpness. The M4 Bridge coming up, opened in 1966, and it was the first suspended bridge in the world to have aerodynamically shaped road sections, far lighter and more elegant than previous bridges. It's suspended from cables, you can see there's two cables, and the decks below were built by Fairfield Engineering at Chepstow, up the River Wye, which is to the left there, and these sections were floated down and hoisted up into position by crane into position. It's quite interesting. They were built by Fairfields, who also built ships, and amongst the ships that Fairfields built, but not down here up in Glasgow, was the Cardiff Queen, though they're loved by many of you from years ago. They were both built by Fairfields, the Cardiff Queen and the section of the Severn Bridge. To build a shipyard at Chepstow, to reactivate the small shipyard there. And a vast amount of money was poured into it. And in actual fact, the war ended and no ships were ever built there. Except possibly the bits of the car, the bits of the Severn Bridge. I mentioned the shipyard just now. It's going to build ships of war up here. The Fairfield one up the River Wye was where the Severn Bridge section were built, but it was proposed to extend it to a great extent on a much bigger shipyard just on the other side of the Severn Bridge. But that was the one that never actually happened. They built half of it, then the war ended, and that was that. But the premises were later, and the site was later converted to the Army Apprentices College, which was the base for the Army Apprentices when they had that scheme running. And subsequently it's still a military operation and military barracks. And the last bridge that I heard was there was Royal Welsh Fusiliers, I think, were based there. But it's still used as an army barracks. So we're coming up now to the Severn Bridge, and directly under the old Severn Bridge, or The original Severn Bridge was the Horse Ferry, which plied from Beachley, which was seen on the port side, and Horst on the other side. The regular ferry service, Severn Queen, Severn Princess, and Severn King in the later years. And the day the Severn Bridge closed, opened rather, the ferry closed down. One of the ships, Severn Princess, I think it is still afloat. It's up in Chepstow, being restored, hopefully to just over a static buoy. It might be a quick, short trip to the river, but certainly we'll go out to sea out here. That's the Severn Princess still afloat. The other two ships were scrapped. Well, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, under the Severn Bridge. You can see one of the cradles underneath, used for maintenance purposes. And over on the port side, a very clear view of the old slipway of the North Ferry. And the Severn View Hotel up there, which is still very much operational. And this, the white buildings there, directly under the bridge, that's their headquarters of the Severn Rescue Association, who operate a lifeboat service in the River Severn and all up here. It's a privately run, private charity, not part of the RNLI, but they perform a lot of rescue work of people getting into distress in River Severn and this area of the coast. It's the Severn Area Rescue Association.
That's Berkeley Nuclear Power Station over there.
Well, we're coming up to the little wide bits here, ladies and gentlemen. I'll say there you can't see it. There's an area of deeper water here, enough for Waverley to turn round in, so we'll be turning round and heading back now back down to Portishead. But meanwhile, if you look ahead of us, you can see the prominent buildings there nearest to us. That's Oldbury Power Station, the nuclear power station, which was decommissioned a few years ago. And then further up the coast, you could just about make out Sharpness, Barclay Nuclear Power Station, which was similarly decommissioned a few years ago. Both of these now are laid up, and of course they're going to be there for another 100 years, so they're decontaminated completely, I believe. So that's the new nuclear power station. And beyond that is the docks at Sharpness.
A passenger announcement with Robert Slade. Contact the purser's office, please. That's Robert Slade.
A little bit of interest with regard to the Severn Bridge. Passenger of the other day, who had been an engineer with electricity supply people, I think. There is actually a tunnel under the Severn Bridge at this point with service cables going through it. And of course there's the overhead power line just further down, which is actually there before the Severn Bridge was built. There is an underwater services tunnel here. Just walk through basically with cables and so forth in it. And it's from this point, it's about 7 or 8 miles up to Sharpness, which is beyond the second building you can see up there. Then from there, the canal goes up to Gloucester. The Severn is really navigable above Sharpness. Any traffic going up to the Midlands goes into the lock at Sharpness, through the docks at Sharpness, which are still commercially used, and the canal up to Gloucester. Sharpness dock still has a bit of cargo coming in and out. Cement is one of the cargoes, and scrap, scrap coming out. But there's still quite a busy little dock, and coastal ships go up there, up to about 600-700 ton ships can go in there quite easily. But now we make our way back to Portishead, just to remind you that Waverley Souvenir Shop is open. That's on the main deck, one deck down from the promenade deck. And you'll find the souvenir shop at the entrance of the dining saloon. Shop has a very wide variety of Waverley souvenirs and a range of chocolates and confectionery. Our souvenirs include clothing, glassware, pottery, a big range of books on multiple subjects, including several books on Waverley. Also, our Waverley maps on the channel and the Waverley's £1 annual newspaper. All these you can find in the souvenir shop down on the main deck, just off of the engine room, at the entrance of the dining saloon. And again, just to remind you, all catering facilities are open to you. On the promenade deck, just after the funnels, you have the Caledonia Tea Lounge. Down below, the main dining saloon. There are a wide variety of snacks, coffees, treats, light refreshments. Later on, cooked meals will be available. And forward on the main deck, you have the GDD Town, with a wide selection of alcoholic and non-alcoholic drinks. All these points are open to you right throughout your cruise. So we hope you've enjoyed your day on Waverley today, or afternoon on Waverley as the case may be. And we're heading down. Slightly drier weather for the moment anyway. Right, thank you.
get on set if I go with you one someday. Yeah, so he on the stage, yeah. Pat Farrell.
Okay, so we're approaching the second Severn crossing, Prince of Wales Bridge they call it, I think. On the way back down to where we started from, past Avonmouth, Portbreed to Portishead, and then I think we go over to Penarth, back to Clevedon. there we are. So we embarked at Clevedon. We popped into Porter's Head, and then we went under the two bridges, the second crossing and then the original one, and then we turned round and reversed the process. So the original bridge, then the second one, which we've just passed, and now we're heading back towards Porter's Head. Past the Avonmouth docks and the Royal Portbury docks into Porter's Head. And I think we go to Penarth first and then back to Clevedon. I think that's the routing. But I think it's time for a coffee soon. I think it's time for a coffee. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Still got a little ways to go yet till we get back, so I'll keep it rolling, and you can enjoy the full trip. And it's been good. I've enjoyed it once again. The Waverley's here in the Bristol Channel once a year, usually late May, June time, and it's here for about 4 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks, doing various trips in the channel down to Minehead, Ilfracombe, across to South Wales. Various trips every day. And if you get a chance, if you're in the area, or come down especially for it to experience this, it's the last sea-going paddle steamer in the world. SS Waverley. Looks like the rain's coming in again. Let's go and grab a coffee, I think. Ugh. Go downstairs. That'll be a bit.
Okay.
Enjoy all right?
Have 2 teas, please.
Keep that on each other for a minute. Anything else?
Nothing else, thank you.
Here's your first tea. That is £5.80. Oh, that just failed there. Oh, it'll just be the signal.
Sorry?
The signal just failed there, so just try that again if you don't mind. Insert cards. Oh, incorrect.
Latte, please.
That's, there we go. No problem. Enjoy, okay? Thank you very much.
Milk's up behind me, is it?
Yeah, just before you go out the door, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Anything, just give me a shout. Is that all? £7.40, please.
There we are. That's much better.
Interesting little thing you got there.
There we go, everybody.
Is it
Time
just a
for a little yeah. Time for a little bit of a break. Oh. This is the lower deck, lower galley. It's not very busy at the moment because the bar's shut. But later on tonight, on the evening cruise, we will have, it will be open and there'll be loads of people in here.
Just behind the funnels. That's last call for any passengers requiring flight pre-book tickets or purchase tickets. Contact the buses office. Thank you.
There we go. Take some stills.
When you start to come forward, we know we're in trouble.
As you can see behind, we're just about on the waterline, this lower deck. So let's hope the portholes are watertight. There's no phone data signal out here in the middle of the channel. I was hoping to do it as a live broadcast, but can't do it. There's no data. So this is a pre-record. So I'm going to send it out later as live, probably tomorrow. But yeah. might be in a washing machine.
That's going to make you feel sick if you watch that. We do that every year. It's very fun.
I love it. I really do love it.
I'm so glad to hear that.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Enjoy.
Hello. So, you use diesel
In the boilers.
in the boiler, and it's not coal?
No.
No, not anymore.
It was only coal for 10 years of her life.
Oh,
So even before she went into preservation, the coal had been stripped out and it was replaced with heavy fuel oil.
heavy fuel, right.
Yeah.
So that, the boiler's under there,
There's two boilers in
Yeah.
the boiler room there.
right?
They actually run the whole length of the ship from this bulkhead here.
Yeah.
And if you walk along where all the information placards are,
Okay.
that whole space is taken up with one really long boiler on each side.
Right.
And the height of it is from the height of this deckhead here
Yeah.
all the way down to the bottom there.
Wow.
They are two huge boilers.
Yeah. And then it's pumped down to the bottom here, is it? Is that,
So it comes through here. So the boilers boil the water and it makes steam.
Yeah.
And the steam comes through this white pipe here.
Yeah.
From the boiler room and it jumps straight into here into the middle of the engine.
That's it.
Yeah. And then
That's what pushes the
that's what
cylinders.
pushes it. Yeah. So the steam then expands in the first cylinder.
Yeah.
And then we've got two more. So this expands from the middle over to this side, and then again once it's expanded over onto the last piston on the other side.
Right. Hence the three
Hence the three pistons. Yeah.
three pistons, and they're all at different stages of push. They're not all together.
You can see that there.
Yeah,
the
they're all
different
1, 2,
angles.
3. Yeah.
You can just kind of see them go around.
Yes.
As it kind of pushes over to the edge there, that's the one that's providing the most force onto the
Force,
paddles.
and then the next one, and the next one.
Yeah.
So you do that so it's nice and smooth,
Exactly.
rather than having three at once. So you get a jump.
You get a jump, and you also like end up bending the crankshaft and
Right.
all sorts of. If you imagine like both of them like,
Yeah.
jumping,
At the same time.
you end
Yeah.
up with a bent ship very quickly
Got it.
because they are extremely powerful. But,
Got it.
yeah.
Got it. Yeah. And what are the three little ones?
So those that you see moving back and forth,
Yeah.
they are the valve piston rods. So they control the timing of the steam into each cylinder.
Got it.
So as it's connected to the main crankshaft there,
Yeah.
that's just what's telling it in a mechanical sense.
Right.
Okay, open up to let steam in, close again to let the steam expand.
Right. And that depends. Yeah, it's all coming from the main shaft, so it's
Yeah,
very clever
very, very clever.
for 19th century engineering. Fantastic, isn't it?
Brilliant, yeah. It's kind of the pinnacle of it, since it was one of the last steamships made in the steam era.
Yeah.
So it's the pinnacle of all that engineering
yes.
coming together. And
In this one. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, it's fantastic. You keep it going.
It's good fun.
Yeah,
It's
I
always
love it.
worth it. Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem at all. Enjoy.
Bit of rocking and rolling here in the middle of the channel. That's interesting. So all this here is boiler. All of this is boiler. Pipe steam for that white pipe into the pistons. Very, very good. So we're leaving Penarth en route back to Clevedon now. Should be about an hour's crossing.
That's all the first year. Breezy on this side. Let's go on the other side, I think.
Slightly better with the wind over here. It's flat home and steep home. So that's the South Wales coast there we're looking at. Just left Penarth. There's Cardiff in the background. Cardiff Bay. Cardiff Airport is over there. It's the Windvo transmitter. Oh, look at the rolling mist in the sea here. Whoa! Conditions are somewhat tricky out here in the middle of the channel, as you can see, and I can feel. It's funny though. Go. So we've only got 18% left power. A battery left, so not sure if we're going to finish this. I may have to put a halt until we get closer to Clevedon and then a restart. I'll run out of power, I think. Run out of battery life. Okay, so we're turning back now. Heading back towards the Somerset coast. Round the island and back.
This is nasty. Go to Farewell, you have to sit the ship and carry the seatbelts. Or just not. Sorry? Yeah, probably it's 2019, but yeah, we're quite regular visitors. We were. But yeah, Farewell Ferry is
Right.
Yeah, it's down this one. It's down this one. Yeah.
Well, it's there. You walk right past it. You walk right past it.
Oh, I love it. You just let me go fast.
The middle street.
has been a permit, I think. And deliberately been comparatively the jigsaw, that's not the same. That's not it's apples and oranges. Totally. What's the thing?
Okay, well, welcome back. Just about pulling in now. It's Clevedon ahead of us, pier just behind. Hopefully I've got enough battery left just to finish this off. So there we are. That completes the journey. Well, almost. So we left Clevedon about 1:30, and we then went to Portishead. So we docked at Portishead, took on some more passengers, and then we sailed then under the two bridges. The second Severn crossing first, then up to the original one under that. Then we spun round in the channel and came back under the bridges again, and then we sailed down through the middle of the channel, and then we docked in Penarth.
In a few minutes, Waverley will be making her approach to the pier at Clevedon. We ask all passengers to prepare to disembark, and please have your tickets ready for collection at the gangway.
There we go.
In the interest of safety, we would ask all passengers to be aware that there may be some sudden movement as the ship berths, particularly given the swell conditions of the pier tonight. Try to stay seated or hold on to any solid object as we come alongside the pier in case there are any sudden movements. For those passengers looking for coach connections, there are 2 coaches from Clevedon this evening. One coach will be heading straight to Portishead. That coach, the Portishead, is by Turners. So if you see the Turners coach, that is for Portishead. And for those passengers with the Chepstow, we have South Wales Transport coach. So Portishead, Turners, Chepstow is South Wales Transport. If you have any questions, confirm with the driver before you board. Coaches will be waiting at the landward end of the pier, and they will leave as soon as all passengers are boarded. So you make your way down the pier as quick and safely as you can after you disembark the ship. Many thanks for sailing with us this evening. Apologies for the slight delay running and getting you back to Clevedon, and apologies also to any passengers who were hoping to do the Clevedon fundraising evening cruise, which they had to cancel because of the swell conditions. I do hope you understand the reasons behind that. Thanks again, have a safe one, family, and look forward to seeing you again in the future.
So there we go. So yeah, so then we went over to Penarth, docked there, took on passengers. There's meant to be an evening sailing from Clevedon along the around the Home Islands, but because of the weather they cancelled that, and we've been delayed by going back to Clevedon because it's very rough, as you can probably tell. I'm not sure if you can hear me or not. There's a big swell So it's just about at its limit, really. So that's why tonight's sailing has been cancelled, and we're delayed going back. And we've just got to hold on here because we're being tossed around. So yeah, there we are. Thanks very much for joining. And we'll catch you on the next one. I'll just, hopefully we've got enough battery left just to get the docking. It's only like 4% battery left, so we may not get it. See you. Oh, there's 2% battery left. This could be very close. See how much the tide has dropped since we came on at lunchtime. We were on the top level when we left, and now we're on the bottom level. That's called docking. So there we are. 1% battery left, good timing. We're done.